Welcome everyone again to yet another episode of DHANDHA series by Omkara Capital. This is one sector we have been trying to understand again and again. You remember on the real estate, we got Knight Frank and Enerock. They really helped us to understand the sector. And this time we are privileged to get a company which is Sunteck Realty. It's not a small company. We were checking by the pre-sales number. If you go by, I think they are the third largest in entire India. As I said, we have the privilege of having Mr. Kamal Khetan, who is the CMD of the company, and Prashant Chaubey as well with us. Both gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of this series and being our guru and teacher to make us learn about the sector and Sunteck Realty.
Thank you. How do you want us to start?
मैं बताऊंगा सर, मैं सब क्वेश्चंस पूछूंगा आपसे, बट एक डिस्क्लेमर पहले मैं देना चाहूंगा सर कि Omkara Capital या वरिंदर बंसल don't have any economic interest in Sunteck. We don't have any business alliances, anything at all. This is only a learning process by which Kamalji and Prashant have agreed to teach us. तो सर हम लोग ये जब सीरीज करते हैं ना कमल जी और प्रशांत, हम लोग करते हैं कि हम इतना सिंपल हिंदी भाषा में करें कि बच्चे से बच्चा और माता पिता भी इस चीज को समझ जाए. तो आई विल ओनली रिक्वेस्ट यू कि जितना ये कॉफी टेबल काइंड ऑफ कन्वर्सेशन हो सके हिंदी में बात कीजिए, इंग्लिश में बात कीजिए, पर जब कोई इसको देखे तो उसको मजा आ जाए कि आप दिल से थोड़ा सा कन्वर्सेशन कीजिए. कमल जी, एनीथिंग एल्स बिफोर वी स्टार्ट?
I think I'm fine. I'm fine.
पूरा मस्त हो गए सर, हम बात करेंगे, ठीक है?
ठीक है.
Lovely. तो कमल जी, हम हमेशा बोलते हैं, और ऑफ कोर्स सॉरी तो शिवम भाई भी है मेरे साथ. तो शिवम भाई इज द वन who along with Ishrat and Devesh has worked on the sector, so he is the guy. He will ask all the tough questions, I'll ask all the stupid questions to you, ठीक है ना? तो मजा आने वाला है. तो सर हम हमेशा बोलते हैं कि किसी कंपनी के पहले, कभी भी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करना है तो पहले प्रमोटर को समझो. तो हमने हमेशा रियल एस्टेट के बारे में बात की है. एक्चुअली है ना क्या सर, कमल जी मैं सच्ची बोलूं, रियल एस्टेट इज अ सेक्टर जो सबको ज्यादा पता नहीं है, बिकॉज जितना तेजी देखा था रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में वो 2005-6 से लेकर 2008-9 तक देखा था. और जो सब नए नए इन्वेस्टर्स आए हैं उन्होंने लास्ट 10 साल का तो देखा कुछ नहीं है, तो उनको कुछ ज्यादा मालूम नहीं है. उनको इतना ही मालूम है कि रियल एस्टेट में 3-4 कंपनीज हैं. तो सबसे पहले वो डीएलएफ का नाम आता है बिकॉज सबसे बड़ा है, देन गोदरेज का आता है, देन लोढ़ा का आता है. लोढ़ा अभी आने लगा फॉर ऑल द गुड और बैड रीजंस, एंड देन ओबराय का नाम आता है. तो लोग समझते नहीं सेक्टर को, और ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट बहुत है सेक्टर में. तो प्रमोटर प्लेज अ वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन दिस सेक्टर. Who is Kamal Khetan? Let's forget about industry or even Sunteck for a while. Who is Kamal Khetan? आप इस फील्ड में कैसे आए? लोग बोलते हैं कि जिसके पास ज्यादा पैसा होता है वही रियल एस्टेट कंपनी बना सकता है. तो आप इस सेक्टर में कैसे आए सर?
Good question. So let me start with the background of Kamal Khetan. कहाँ से Kamal Khetan आया? So very very frankly, I was from a born and brought up, fortunately, in a joint Marwadi Agarwal family. So had an opportunity to do business like in my blood, I would say. तो बचपन से ही सीखते जाते हैं, पेरेंट्स को देखते हैं. So joint family थी तो अंकल्स को देखते थे, वो बिजनेस करते थे. तो we were into different businesses like textile, agro commodities, plywood, different businesses in the joint family with my fathers and uncles together. So it was a big joint family. So thereafter, obviously, at one point of time, जैसे most of the joint family में होता है, after some time there is a split. That split happened, and obviously, and that time, in fact, when in the joint family, my father used to look after the construction business, like, and that was like one of the side business. जैसे पहले जमाने में real estate हुआ करता था, that you do one project at a time, एक या दो project, कोई debt लेना नहीं है, किसी से पैसा लेना नहीं है. एक या दो प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट किया, छोटे प्रोजेक्ट्स, और फिर दूसरा 2 प्रोजेक्ट पे मूव हो गए. बट बहुत छोटी सी कंपनी थी. एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू गो विथ माय फादर व्हेन आई वाज जस्ट लाइक 12 और 13 इयर्स ओल्ड. फ्रॉम सिंस दैट हॉलीडेज में, वेकेशंस में.
आप लोग बॉम्बे से थे सर?
तो मैं आई एम born and brought up in Bombay. मैं बॉम्बे से हूँ, born and brought up in Bombay.
फैमिली का बैकग्राउंड?
My parents, they shifted from Rajasthan way before the independence. So they shifted with my grandfather and all full family from Rajasthan. So वहाँ जब business, जब काफी different businesses थे, split हुआ, तो businesses बढ़ गए obviously. और मुझे real estate में जाना था. So real estate के लिए obviously बहुत बड़ा capital, but I had a good background, obviously family background था, किसी का debt नहीं था, किसी का कोई जो भी debt था, जब split के time पे institutional debt were made zero. So at the split, and then the assets were splitted. So there was no baggage on me, the biggest, and the reputation of the family. So anybody or everybody, if I want to do big business, anybody will fund me as well. So वहां से जब जर्नी स्टार्ट करनी थी तो ऑलवेज केम फ्रॉम अ कंजर्वेटिव फैमिली के किसी के पैसे पे काम नहीं करना है, मतलब सोच समझ के काम करना है, तो सीधा बड़े रियल एस्टेट में जम नहीं मारना था, क्योंकि डेट वेरी कैपिटल इंसेंटिव इंडस्ट्री, इंटेंसिव इंडस्ट्री, तो वांटेड टू बिल्ड अ गुड कैपिटल था पहले का जॉइंट फैमिली का, लेकिन जो भी था मैं बोला और बड़ा बनाना है, फिर जाके जंप करना है एट अ राइट टाइम एंड राइट अपॉर्चुनिटी, नॉट दैट एक छोटे छोटे प्लॉट लेके नहीं करना था मुझे. So looking at that, first I got an opportunity and I was always bullish about the BKC. So
Sunteck was the first company जो आपने चालू किया.
Sunteck 2000 में मैंने start from the scratch zero, and the group का नया नाम दिया Sunteck. तो that's how I started. तो जब BKC में एक 4 फ्लोर्स थे जो कि टेंडर आया था, उसमें 4 फ्लोर रेंट पे देने के लिए. तो मैंने वो 4 फ्लोर पूरे रेंट पे मैंने टेंडर भर के ऑक्शन में उसको खरीद लिया, रेंट पे ले लिया, और मेरे दिमाग में था कि आई वाज वेरी बुलिश ऑन बीकेसी. तो 2000 में बीकेसी वाज नॉट एस्टैब्लिश्ड, नरीमन पॉइंट वाज द मेन सीबीडी. नरीमन
क्योंकि सनटेक का शुरुआत 2000 में हुआ, राइट?
करेक्ट, 2000 में. तो 2006 में पहला रियल एस्टेट प्लॉट लिया, 2006 और 2007 में, जो कि मैं आता हूँ उस तक. तो 2000 में जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया तो मैंने ये 4 फ्लोर रेंट पे मिल रहे थे, और मैंने ये 4 फ्लोर रेंट पे ले लिए. लोग पूछेंगे क्यों, मेरे पास तो कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नहीं थी. मैंने सोचा कि बीकेसी में देयर इज अ ह्यूज पोटेंशियल, एंड लॉन्ग टर्म लीज पे मिल रहा था, 15 साल 20 साल की लीज पे मिल रहे थे ये फ्लोर. और मैं बोला कि बिजनेस सेंटर बीकेसी में, बिकॉज नरीमन पॉइंट विल शिफ्ट टुवर्ड्स बीकेसी, एंड दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड. इन 3 से 4 साल में वो हो गया. और 2001 में मुझे लग रहा था जस्ट शुरुआत होनी है, कभी भी हो जाएगी. 2001 में होगी, 2002 में होगी, 2004 में. आई वॉज वेरी क्लियर, मे बी 2-3 साल पेन होगा, शायद मैं रेंट जितना दे रहा हूँ उतना ही रिकवर कर पाऊं, लेकिन आई विल गेट अ बिग अपसाइड आफ्टर 2-3 years.
Very nice.
So I tied up the landlord for 15 years, and that was a big breakthrough which I did. I think उसको लेके 4 floors in BKC in any building, and then I started a business center. जो आज के दिन वैल्यूएशन गेम है, उस टाइम पे वैल्यूएशन गेम नहीं था, रियल प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए था. एंड आई ऑलवेज बिलीव कि रियल प्रॉफिट इज मेन एसेंस, एंड दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड दैट बिजनेस सेंटर कंपनी. एंड आई वाज वेरी क्लियर कि हियर दिस इज अ फाउंडेशन फॉर स्टार्टिंग माय रियल एस्टेट कंपनी. आई वाज वेरी क्लियर बिकॉज मैं बचपन में फादर के साथ जाता था, तो मेरा पैशन था कि कोई बड़ी रियल एस्टेट कंपनी बनानी है, मैं कोई दूसरे बिजनेस में नहीं जाना चाहता था.
सर सनटेक नाम कहां से आया?
Sunteck, I think I wanted to, my father's name start from S, so I wanted to keep something from S, and sun is always shining, so it's positivity, and I wanted to give a new age company name, so it's tech is like tech gives, so mixture of all this. And then you may ask why you made the Sunteck as TECK. So there was other companies which were Sunteck, TECH, TEC. So I said to get your websites and everything and unique name, so I added that K, and I decided to make it Sunteck with this spelling, SUNTECK. So that's how I started that. So the first business center, we in fact tied up for that business center. I tied up with one of the Sweden. I went to Singapore and I tied up with a Swedish company, one of the oldest business center company known as Centraco, and I called that business center as Sunteck Centraco. And I was very clear, while doing this, I will be dealing with the best of the IPCs, and I would only deal with multinationals. And so that I create a good platform and foundation for myself when I start a real estate. There should be a good brand behind me when I start a real estate. I didn't want to do that typical real estate जो पहले जमाने में पहले सब करते थे, वो जो अभी most of them have got wiped out. So उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए I started, and I was very clear. So getting first tenant was very important, and first 3-4 tenants, and that sets your benchmark.
Yes.
And the pricing and the quality. So believe me, first 3-4 were definitely very difficult, but thereafter, with the kind of services, kind of quality, and the tie-up was there with one of the best and the oldest business center company in those days. So then my clients to name were Intel, Hewlett Packard, Schlumberger, Marks and Spencer, AT&T, SAS Global, Juniper Network, Cable and Wireless, JW Marriott Global Sales Office, Visa Credit Card, Marubeni. So name most of the companies who wanted to be in BKC would come to us.
Lovely.
And it was then never looking back. And we took another 5 floors in BKC, similarly on 7-8 years lease and long-term lease. And we started building this. But I was very clear that business center made the growth potential those days. Now it is huge, like WeWorks, co-working space. Those days, that potential was not that much. So we felt that my focus should be in real estate, getting into the real estate.
Sir, a question family ke upar before I jump to other things.
Correct.
So I understood that father, पिताजी जो थे, बाकी textile business हुआ, अलग-अलग businesses में थे. आपका ध्यान यहाँ पे था. Any word on the siblings, sir? Who are the siblings in the business? And on Sunteck, is this the only company where Kamal Khetan has interest, or there are any other companies where you have interest, and any other family member who's involved in Sunteck?
So apart from me and myself and my father and my immediate family, no other siblings are involved in my Sunteck business. No other siblings are involved. So it is very professionally managed. Otherwise, I would have not been able to grow this company to this level. My mentorship is of my father, no doubt about it. But it is, I'm the only, it's all my family holding, and there is no one from outside. Not even my any other relatives are part of this Sunteck group.
Lovely. And Mr. Kamal Khetan has any other business apart from Sunteck, or the?
So in my family offices, obviously we have small other business. Where I am like an investor. You can almost say I'm like an investor.
Got it.
We have an NBFC. We have different, but those are like pure investments.
And kids, sir, kids?
So I have one daughter. She's in fact now she's fully involved from last 2 years, 3 years. She's fully involved into marketing. So my daughter, she has joined the business after passing out from Warwick University from UK, London. And my son, he's still studying in US. So it's a long way to go for him to join the business.
Lovely. So sir, coming on the business, it's always said that people should have deep pockets, before they think of real estate sector. You don't come from with any, grant, anyone potentially who is backing you, or, potentially a political party or anything, right? And what you have told us, ki most of the times you have followed a JDA kind of a business model. Connect us these things, one, how can you, without any backing, survive various cycles in a real estate market? And which is the kind of business model which you as an entrepreneur think is the best for the real estate sector?
So I think I've been very lucky or fortunate in that terms. While doing this, I got a very big opportunity of I will come to that, but I can just answer this question. Ajay Piramal to be my mentor in the starting itself, because he was our JV partner. Piramal family invested in our first project in BKC, and it was from the India REIT, as well as after that 4-5 projects and 5 to 6 projects were funded by the Piramal family office. And those were pure equity. So I was always averse to the debt. I didn't mind sharing my profit, but I am always averse to the debt. Is only that much of the debt is important, we feel, which can be serviced easily from your cash flows. So zero debt is also very bad. Then that means you're not growing the company, you're not confident. So I think I got that one big advantage, and that I got in some manner deal directly, indirectly also because my first after India REIT fund from Ajay Piramal Group, the second funding which I got, the big funding at the Sunteck company level, was 10% from the Kotak Real Estate Fund. That time I had interacted quite a few times with Uday Kotak. So I followed them as my mentor. I think Ajay Piramal and Uday Kotak. I think God has been kind. I followed the footsteps of not other developer, I would put it. I had followed the corporate culture. And that's why I said, when I was doing my business center business also, I was very clear that I have to deal with only top multinational companies. So I want to invite that culture within myself. So I wanted that culture to be within my DNA. So I was very clear on that. So that's where, and I don't think to do any business, you definitely need a political backing or not. So today, fortunately, if you see, most of the big corporates are there in real estate. So you talk about Tata, you talk about Godrej, you talk about Mahindras. So I don't think you need those political backing and all. Those are all short-lived, and those don't last for a long time. I always believe.
सर एक चीज ना जो मुझे बहुत बार लोगों ने बोलिया कि जब भी तो इंटरव्यू करता है यार सब अच्छी अच्छी चीजें पूछता है, तो लेट मी स्टार्ट विद अ नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन, ठीक है ना? आपको 21 हो गया, आपको 20-21 साल हो गए काम करते हुए, सबसे बड़ी गलती क्या की कमल खेतान ने या फिर सनटेक ने? Okay, what is the greatest learning you have made in the last 20-21 years? Because as I said, this is a very difficult sector.
So I think I always believed, but फिर भी वो छोटी मोटी मिस्टेक्स की अगर मुझे लगता है तो एक ही चीज मुझे लगता है मैंने गलती की, एंड वो मुझे लर्निंग है कि and which I should have learned from others. Like, I think, and still people who are trying to do that very fast will suffer. Even my competitors, my friends in real estate, don't try to spread too fast geographically and too thin. So that's why if you see, and especially when you are in a MMR market, Mumbai metropolitan region ka market mein aap ho, which is like most resilient market, the best market of the country, you will be stupid to go outside unless and until you see that abhi to opportunities have exhausted in MMR market. Now I have to go outside MMR market. I feel that much bandwidth, if you can give more. So if you look at DLF also, are positively, when they tried to spread too fast, too thin, everywhere outside, they were growing when they were only in Gurgaon, not even in Noida or other places. And when they tried to spread so fast, Bombay, Calcutta, Bangalore, everywhere, they got into big problem. And then they realized it, and they accepted that mistake, and they started winding up. And that's why now I can feel they are becoming stronger once again. So I give that credit. And so also, one thing I've learned is if you make mistake, please accept it and don't try to hide it. And accept it and move on. अगर आप जितना hide करेंगे, उतना वो आपको bite करेगा बाद में. And you will think that was not your mistake. And you are, obviously, if I take 100 decisions, there will be, I am not a God. तो मुझसे भी 4-5 mistakes हो सकती है, लेकिन वो mistakes करके तुम rectify कर लो, accept कर लो. I think that is the best part of it. I think real estate business, the most important is what you can control properly, what you know. And that does not mean Sunteck will compromise on the growth. If I feel that now Sunteck has become so big and it needs to go outside Mumbai, I would like to find another location, not go एक project Bangalore में ले लिया, एक हैदराबाद में ले लिया, एक कोलकाता में ले लिया, एक north में ले लिया. So I would like to go in a second location which is more as good as Bombay, or which has an equal potential to grow, where the demand is higher than the supply, or that market looks better. So that's how we'll like to go systematically outside Mumbai. And that, sorry.
No, sorry, I understood, sir. तो एक और क्वेश्चन है सर जो बार बार होता है कि यार इस सेक्टर में प्रोफेशनलिज्म कम है. So I understood, and it's a very good thing what you're doing, that you deal with most of the MNCs, right, for your business. And I think this is one approach with, I think Godrej or Oberoi has also, showed the right path for few companies. What about the business, sir, company? What are the ways Sunteck has done in order to imbibe more professionalism in the management, in the board of directors? Is there any policies which you think, what Sunteck has done, which I think we may not know?
I think that there are a lot of things what we have done, and we are trying to, like, when we started the company, एक point पे 4-5 साल 6 साल बाद हमको लगने लगा था कि now systems and processes have become more important. So you rightly said that time I was like a one-man company for first 5-6 years, and I was running like a pure entrepreneur. So, and every decision was taken by me. But then in 2009-10, when we realized that 10-11, in fact, when we realized now we need to grow the company, when we took the ODC project, which was 23 acres, something like another big after BKC. So us samay humko laga now the organization has to grow and we need a lot of professionalism and everything in the organization. We hired PwC, we hired KPMG to make the systems and process. We hired professional people at the company level and we created policies. So that's the way we started, obviously making again the strong foundation to take the company. And that is where we were first. Before ODC project, we were only into the luxury segment. So like I said, I was not even in the Mumbai metropolitan region. I was only into the luxury, uber luxury segment, जो 25 करोड़ के ऊपर या 5-10 करोड़ के ऊपर के flat बनाता है. So we were only into that segment. Now we said if we really want to grow the company, and in the country where 98% people would not be able to afford, maybe 99% of the people will not be able to afford apartment above 5 crore rupees. So we said, obviously now we have to enter from that segment to the mid-income group segment. So then the company has to grow. So we systematically, I think we prepared systems, process, got agencies to define, design.
Any ERPs we have or systems we follow?
Yeah, we have Salesforce, which is one of the best sales things. We have one of the best ERPs. Moving to SAP, we are already the process is going on. So we have the best of the systems. We are now, in fact, we must be the one of the first people to, we will introduce a very professional software, which is online sales. And we have achieved by in-house doing some very limited time during the COVID. We did quite a few sales by building a system in rush. But we felt that this can be a big opportunity to do sales outside Mumbai, like NRI market and all. Why we should send people to other markets and we can tap those. So we are investing heavily into that also.
So lovely, sir. So I think the background checks, the family checks, the Kamal Khetan's check are all done, which is good thing. So before I move into sector, give me a broader view of how you feel where India is placed for the real estate sector. Are we at the cusp of what we saw between 2007 to 2010-11? इतना तेजी आपको दिखता है सर, because interest rates all time low, inventory 25-24 months level आ गया, inventory नीचे गिर रहा है, and all those data points you have. What is your broad view, sir, on this, and any data points you want to share, Kamal ji and Prashant ji?
So definitely data points I will give Prashant to give the data points, but I will just share before Prashant starts on the data. I feel this can be, if not bigger than 2006-2007 ka boom. I think after that 2007-8, before the Lehman crisis, post that we have not seen that boom for last 12-13 years. In fact, more than 12-13 years. So, wo boom, agar I feel this boom can be bigger. Unfortunately, reason is wrong, COVID. But this has made people realize the necessity of house, especially to the millennial, the youngsters, those people who are thinking, "Kyun house, ghar mein invest kyun karna hai? Rent pe le lo." So now that has made as a priority, and people who are staying, even the older class or the older generation, now they have realized the importance of home. They are all looking at a bigger homes. Obviously, everybody. जिसके पास 1 bedroom है उसको 2 bedroom चाहिए, जिसके पास 2 bedroom है उसको 4 bedroom का घर चाहिए. Because we are now today, after post COVID, most of us are 70 to 80% of the time more than 80% of the time we are at home. So I think and how going forward, we don't know how much that, even if we don't follow work from home hybrid model, even that hybrid model continues. That partly working from home, partly working from office. So that will, with that in the mind, I think the people will start thinking that one allocated space, bigger allocation of space for each and every family member who are working in the family, a separate office space kind of a thing, or a study desk in the house. So that will drive a lot of, and I'm basically, if you divide the segment today, the COVID has it has preponed a lot of things. The data centers, the demand for data center will be now going crazy. I feel we all know, thanks to the cloud and all the data requirement. Then warehousing. Warehousing, we are already seeing the big boom. Now, since most of the people are ordering online, all these people will need more and more storage. So the demand will be across all the segment, I believe, including retail when the COVID goes and the things. I think the fastest recovery I feel in the retail segment. Residential, I am very high bullish, because I think that is one segment which will see the lifetime. I think this may be the lifetime high opportunity for any real estate developer to this boom will take to. Only I'm worried about the commercial office space, how that will come out after the COVID, whether it will revive in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That's why we are very clear that we want to focus mainly on the residential, thereafter, if partly retail. And so, and I see a huge demand. And
sir, are there any lead indicators, sir? Because honestly, मैं जिससे भी बात कर रहा हूँ अभी सबके सब real estate पे बहुत bullish हैं. But I'm saying in terms of data points which Prashant may have, are there any lead indicators for the industry which tells us actually the revival is happening? Because I think last time we were discussing with NRO or those guys, they were telling us that the home loan or home loan inquiries which comes in, and we can check with some of these NBFCs or HFCs. वो कोई data point है जो बता रहा है कि
yeah, Prashant will give you. So affordability is lifetime low. That means all time low. So affordability, which means that it is the best time to buy. So at that data point, Prashant will give you that data point. Affordability is all time low and interest rates are all time low. These are the two big indicators.
Got it.
These are the two big indicators.
Question,
so the affordability, if you see, in 1995, it was 22. And now it is 3.2. And it has continuously come down.
How do you calculate this affordability, sir? 22 ka matlab kya
this data, Prashant will be able to explain you better. Prashant, you can take over.
Yeah. So, Varinderji, we look at the property value and the average property value divided by your annual income. So that gives you a multiple. And that multiple is at an all-time low, which is actually meaning it's the best affordability, as sir was saying.
So sorry to interrupt, Prashant. If you see, annual income definitely in last 20 years have gone up, 25 years has gone up so high. But if you see the real estate prices in last 10 to 12 years had hardly gone up. It's not gone up, in fact, it has been plateaued. It's almost same. So if you see that chart also, so Prashant, you can explain it properly.
Yeah. So as sir was saying, if you look at the orange line is basically the annual income. So annual income, if you see, it has been constantly going up. There is no, it's not as if it's tapering or anything. Similarly, as sir was saying, the property cost, which is the yellow bars. If you look at the yellow bars post 2013, it has been hovering around the same level. There is a kind of a time correction that is happening in the property cost. So that has improved affordability hugely. And now we are seeing the impact of it. Post-COVID, we are getting to see the impact of it. Why the impact is also happening is, as sir, again, I would like to take a leaf out of sir's book. What sir was talking about millennials. Now, Varinderji, if you look at the millennials is basically the generation from 1981 to 2005. So anyone who was born in 1990, today he will be 30 years old. And what we have seen is that 30 to 40 is the range where maximum home buying happens in India, almost around 50%. So that is why we believe that currently the situation that we are in, it is structurally going to be a boom time. It is, as sir was saying, and it is for a decade. It is not something which is, we are talking about 1 year or 2 years. It is like a 10-year story that we are talking about.
Shan, any other data points apart from this affordability ratio, like the inventory statistics you may have?
Obviously. So on the inventory front, I will just like to highlight is that today in MMR, the unsold inventory stands at 2.3. Now this 2.3 years actually includes the stuck or unorganized developer inventory as well. If I remove the stuck or the unorganized developer inventory, the ratio drastically falls down from 2.3 to 1.7, 1.8. Now, so that is the 1.8 years. What we have generally seen, the moment it touches 1.5, the price rise starts to happen, and the bullishness comes back into the residential real estate market. So that is another indicator, Varinder ji, which is really helpful for us right now.
चलो मगर ये तो मालूम चल गया कि आप दोनों की रियल एस्टेट मार्केट में बहुत बुलिश हो, ठीक है ना, दैट इज डन. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर. ठीक है, तो मैं क्वेश्चन पूछना, फिर तू भी पूछ लेना. ठीक है, कमल जी पैसा कैसे बनाते हो आप सेक्टर में? यू नो मगर अगर बिकॉज वी एनालिस्ट समटाइम्स थिंक कि यार ये सेक्टर को एनालाइज करना बहुत मुश्किल है. आपका P&L देखते हैं, P&L में कुछ और ही होता है. आपका कैश फ्लोस देखते हैं, कैश फ्लोस में कुछ और ही होता है. बहुत सारे अकाउंटिंग है यहाँ पे, AS 115 है. प्लीज हेल्प अस टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट कैसा पैसा बनाते हो आप इस सेक्टर में, क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो हमें देखना चाहिए, कैसे हमें समझना चाहिए इस सेक्टर को.
So very important again, Varinder, capital allocation अगर हम देखते हैं आज very important. आज सेगमेंट में we all know this is a capital intensive industry, and अगर आप कितनी लैंड खरीदते जाओगे तो डेट बिल्ट अप कर लोगे. डेट then you are working. What happened? Most of the developer, unfortunately, जो 90% of the developers are today dead. The only reason I feel they all believed that, see, developers were awarded in the past for their inefficiencies, I would say, because the price rise used to be crazy. Real estate price used to go crazy. ऊपर जाते रहता था. तो सब लोग पहले रियल एस्टेट में आप बोलोगे बिल्डर्स लोग पैसा बनाते थे, डेवलपर्स लोग पैसा बनाते थे, बिकॉज दैट वाज ड्यू टू ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ द प्राइस फ्लक्चुएशन और प्राइस अप्रिशिएशन, I would say, not because of some efficiency or something like you are working like a corporate, you are working like a manufacturing company. So we have always, when we acquired the project, we have done a lot of research like BKC. So हमने project लेते ही Lehman crisis आ गया था, लेकिन it didn't affect us. In fact, we have grown maximum during the Lehman crisis. We did maximum acquisitions. वो भी मैं आपको data points बताऊंगा हमने क्या किया, कैसे किया. So उस समय ये जो अगर आप देखोगे कि जब अपने मतलब where was I lost. So
Lehman crisis, sir, you know.
So during the Lehman crisis, हम लोग we were in fact growing. So what I'm trying to say, capital allocation has to be very important. So जो हमने BKC लिया in spite of Lehman crisis, we were growing. So similarly, when we are looking at how you make the money, so this is the chart. Agar if you see Prashant ka chart, 2006 we acquired our first property, and when the Lehman crisis happened, we were only one project of ours which was under construction, matlab which was we were going to start and was giving us a cash flow. The one project cash flow which was BKC project cash flow, and we made it cash flow so strong from that one single project that we could acquire in post Lehman crisis. We did the maximum acquisition of our company. So your capital allocation, timely allocation, and not putting money. So I was trying to say that अगर आप ये सोच के पैसा डालते जा रहे हो, लैंड बैंक बिल्ड करते जा रहे हो, तो you will land up in a definitely a problem. You cannot work in any, you cannot make money in any business where your raw material, land you should consider as your raw material. And if you're putting a raw material में 20 years का raw material buy करके आप पैसा डाल रहे हो और ये सोच के कि appreciation होगा उसके कारण मैं पैसा बनाऊंगा, तो which is very, I feel very wrong.
So what are the kind of business models which are there in the industry, or which model Sunteck follows? बाकी आप लोगों ने इतना जगह लिया, ये सब acquired है कि क्या होता है? बाकी if you can educate us कि क्या-क्या business models होते हैं इस industry में?
तो क्या हमने capital allocation भी किया, ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने नहीं किया है. पैसा डाल के जमीन नहीं खरीदी. तो मेरा first project for my career was in BKC, which is Signature Island. When we moved from, let's say, business center business to the real estate business in 2006, my first project acquisition was BKC, Signature Island, which was fully acquired in MMRDA के auction में, tender में. So that time we got this plot and we made huge money out of it. And because we did a research, lot of research, that there was no residential in BKC. There was no residential. The residential जो भी थे वो government quarters थे, जो SBI के bank quarters थे, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा के थे, बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का होगा, सो नाबार्ड का होगा. सो वी फेल्ट कि इन CBD, जैसे we did lot of research. So whenever we did our capital allocation, when we didn't do a JV JDA, joint venture asset light model nahi follow kiya, when we were putting huge capital. So like BKC mein, when we put a huge capital, so that time we did a research ke when we were bidding, residential ka price was 1/3 of the commercial. So 2006 mein commercial price in BKC was 25,000-30,000 rupees a square feet, which was higher than the Nariman point. And the residential price in and around BKC was 7,000-8,000 rupees a square feet, even like less than 1/3. So 7,000 to 8,000 Kalanagar, Kalina. So Kalanagar, which is low MIG colony, mid-income group colony, or I would say low-income group colony, all those colony, those were the benchmark for the residential. And BKC was not, Bandra East was not considered as a posh location for residential. It's for a low-income group. Bandra West is considered like it is Richmond or South Mumbai. So Bandra East, in fact, would command lesser premium than Santa Cruz West or Ville Parle West. So that was a price point there. We said, अगर जैसे NCPA है Nariman Point पे, जो टाटास ने बनाया, NCPA in 2006-07 was 1 lakh rupees square feet, and commercial was 25,000-30,000 rupees a square feet, same. So which was 4x of the commercial pricing. So we said, agar we do something like NCPA, Nariman Point in BKC, and we do high-end luxury, and if we buy a land at 1/3 of the commercial price or 1/4 of the commercial price, and if we can sell it, if not even at 3x or 4x of the commercial price, even at par with commercial, we will make a huge money.
So आप बोल रहे हो कि research and capital allocation, these are two things which are very important. Okay,
very very important
to real estate.
Very very important, because अगर आप देखोगे 2006 में सारे builders लोग crazily bid कर रहे थे commercial के लिए, and we went and aggressively bidded at 10,000 rupees a square feet residential. People were laughing क्योंकि 7,000 का ready inventory का price है, और क्योंकि सब लोग ये सोच रहे थे 1 bedroom 2 bedroom हॉल किचन के फ्लैट्स बनाएंगे, लो इनकम ग्रुप एरिया है, मिड इनकम ग्रुप एरिया है, छोटे एम्प्लॉइज जो काम करते हैं वहां पे बीकेसी में वही लोग फ्लैट्स लेंगे, नहीं तो बीकेसी में कौन रहेगा. बट वी हैड अ फुल्ली डिफरेंट माइंडसेट दैट वी विल क्रिएट अ एनसीपीए फॉर कॉर्पोरेट पीपल टू स्टे इन दिस बिल्डिंग. And that's what today I can proudly say, and I can share, which is in the names are in the public domain. Today, Gautam Adani, Uday Kotak, Ashok Wadhwa, Ambit Capital, these are the people who are staying in that project, Signature Island. So,
आपका जो बिजनेस मॉडल है सर, उसमें जेडीए का कितना शेयर होगा और कैपेक्स वाला कितना होगा, मोटा मोटा?
तो शुरू में कंपनी ने उल्टा, इनफैक्ट स्टार्टेड विद अ मोर ऑफ केपेक्स मॉडल, बट स्लोली वी सॉ इफ वी रियली वांट टू मेक बिग मनी and without means and don't put the company at the risk. So I think today I would say almost 70 to 80% of our acquisitions would be asset light, and all the new acquisitions, last 4 to 5 acquisitions what we have done are all asset light.
सर, आप जब बोर्डरूम में जाते हो, लेट मी आस्क अ वेरी स्टूपिड क्वेश्चन, यू नो, तो आपके दिमाग में क्या होता है कि यार मुझे ये 2 नंबर देखने हैं जो सबसे जरूरी है मेरी कंपनी के लिए, जो मुझे पता चले कि हाउ सनटेक इज डूइंग वर्सेस अदर कॉम्पिटिटर्स, यू नो, कि हम लोग थोड़ा प्राइस अर्निंग, प्राइस टू बुक देखते रहते हैं कि चलो ठीक है, या अभी हमने सीखा कि ईवी टू प्री सेल्स एक नंबर है ऐसा. आप जाते हो तो क्या देखते हो, मतलब सनटेक तरक्की कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा, नंबर बढ़ रहा है कि नहीं बढ़ रहा, वो 1-2 नंबर क्या चीज है आपके दिमाग में?
मेरे लिए ऑब्वियसली कैश कलेक्शंस, स्ट्रॉन्ग कैश कलेक्शंस होना चाहिए. एक्विजिशंस एवरी इंटरवल में, एवरी पीरियड में एक्विजिशन, प्रॉपर एक्विजिशंस होना चाहिए. और अगर आपका सेल्स कंटिन्यूस एक्विजिशंस के साथ होते जा रहा है, हाँ, देन एंड योर डेट इज मेंटेन लो, देन यू डोंट नीड टू वरी. ये 3, आई वुड नॉट से 2 नंबर, ये 3-4 नंबर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर आप समझो सिर्फ 2 नंबर को पकड़ के बैठ जाओगे और 2 नंबर भूल जाओगे, so then there will be a mistake, big mistake.
Sir, so like I would like to understand on an industry front, how is an MMR market different from a South Indian market, say the Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai market? How is it different from an NCR market, and what is different in these markets?
Good. So So MMR market is like your Manhattan market. Again, I'll explain you that Manhattan market is most resilient market. So we'll again take an example of Lehman crisis. During the Lehman crisis, we all know the real estate industry, real estate across the world globally, including most, especially in US, the real estate crashed across everywhere, every place, every state of the US. But if you see that time, real estate corrected the least in Manhattan. It corrected only by 15-20%. Whereas, like if you talk about the places like Miami, the prices would have left to 30%. 100 would have become 30-35 rupees. So the resilience, because the land is scarce, the land is not too much. There is shortage of land always. You don't get easily availability of the land. You have to really do it real hard work. You have to go on ground to make your hand dirty to get these acquisitions. Right. So that is very important. So, and if you are in such a market where if you can do that hard work and get the acquisition every quarter or every 6 months or every year, then you're half the battle you have won. And same is the Bombay market. We all know the land is, where is the land? There is no land available anywhere. So that is why I feel Mumbai MMR market is the most resilient market. And same thing happened in Mumbai. And when during the Lehman crisis, the least corrected market was MMR market. And if you look at when it bounced back, so Manhattan market bounced back the fastest. And in fact, if you look today, it must be more than double or triple the peak price of 2007 Manhattan market. Same if you look at the Mumbai market. So it corrected the least, and when it when it went down, it was the least, and when it bounced back, it was the fastest.
So, sir, also to focus more on the micro markets in Mumbai. So, which market do you feel right now, say for example, is either overcrowded or say either has more opportunity to grow? So, if you can give a little idea over there. So, say for example, right now Mulund, from my understanding, it seems to be a little crowded market because we have Runwal there, we have Oberoi there, we have Lodha there. Now we see our new Bangalore player, say for example, Prestige is coming into Mulund. So that seems to be a market with a lot of supply. So which market do you see has more opportunity to grow in the micro space?
So good again, very frankly, if you see, that's why we say we do a lot of research, and it is not that luck by chance. We are not there in 2 micro markets. It is not that luck by chance. So Shivam, if you see what we have, if you see that we are not there in that south central Mumbai, that lower Parel, upper Worli, lower Worli, so-called that entire micro market where there is so much of supply, where most of all the big developers of Mumbai, you will find them. You name the developer is there that side. It cannot be that where Sunteck is doing so much of acquisition, Sunteck didn't get an opportunity to buy a single land parcel in that micro market or to do a JV JDA in that micro market. But we kept away from that micro market. We felt that is overcrowded. Similarly, in the Mulund and Bhandup at Nahur market, we kept ourselves away from that market. Again, so if you see those micro market, yes, purani mill lands thi. Infrastructure was there, British ke zamane ka, wo mill land ke hisab se. And without the infrastructure, all of a sudden, government started selling these mill lands, NTC lands and all those things. And crazily, obviously, when developer is buying the land, he has to develop. So everybody started developing and government started giving crazy FSIs, crazy development rights. And so much of supply with no infrastructure. There is no proper road. There's no proper infrastructure in that micro market. Same is that Mulund, Bhandup, that LBS mark. If you see, there were all industries and factories were there. And all those came simultaneously and developers just jumped onto it. So we are not in those both micro markets. So I'm not bullish about those both those micro markets. And the third micro market, if you ask me, which I would like to keep away right now, is that Navi Mumbai ka that side of the micro market. So where there is again too much of supply. So Navi Mumbai, we are there in the selective location, like which are already the developed location, which are as good as touching Mumbai, right. Like Airoli, which is like nearest point of Navi Mumbai from Mumbai.
Right.
So those micro market where we see there is a potential in Navi Mumbai, we are only in those micro market. We don't want to go and buy 100 acres of land, 200 acres of land, and oh, this land will appreciate. Because of that, we'll make money and block my 500 crore, 1,000 crore of capital of the company. That was the reason why Sunteck has done such a strong positioning today in the terms of balance sheet, cash flow. We have very properly done our capital allocations, very, very properly.
एक क्वेश्चन इंडस्ट्री पे, देन विल मूव टू सनटेक. ओके, माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन ओनली टू कंप्लीट जो कमल जी ने पहले बात कर रहे थे, शायद प्रशांत उसका डेटा दे सके. सर, आपने जब कलेक्शन एफिशिएंसी बोला, इसमें क्या कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग रियल एस्टेट कंपनी इज लाइक अंडरस्टैंडिंग 10 और 20 कंपनीज इन बिटवीन, बिकॉज़ आपके 10-20 प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं सारे के सारे, और सबका प्रोजेक्ट का टाइम डिफरेंस होता है, हर एक का टाइम डिफरेंस अलग होगा. व्हिच आर द पैरामीटर्स यू track to understand the collection efficiency, one, and second, if you can help us to understand for our retail viewers also, that how to understand the accounting part in the real estate which differentiates the P&L and cash flows.
So I will take your second question first. So accounting part in real estate, in fact, we used to always do before even this new IFRS norm has come and this new accounting standard has come. We used to originally only do project completion method. So we book till the time whatever sales we have done, we take, and whatever money received from the pre-sales, we take it on a receivable side. Means we show that money collected, and it is on the liability side, like it is that on a correct, it's like a kind of a debt. I won't be able to explain properly. I think Prashant will be able to, because I'm not a finance guy. When the project is completed, that entire whatever we have received, obviously then we transfer it into, we book the revenue and we take it to a P&L account. Prashant, if you can explain properly, it will be better.
Just to squeeze in once, you all recognize anything when an OC is received for the building?
Yeah, so we recognize the profit only when the OC is received. So okay, till that time, profits are not booked. Profit is in the balance sheet, I would say, but it is. So Prashant, can you explain technically properly? I don't think I'm a finance guy.
Oh, thank you, sir. So as what sir is saying, I'll just elaborate on that. Shivam, you are absolutely right. Basically, there are two ways in which you can book accounting revenue. Revenue recognition happens in two ways. One is the percentage of completion method, and the other one is a project completion method. Now, percentage of completion method, what happens is as your construction progresses, till that time, whatever sales you have done, you based on the percentage of construction completed, you book the revenues in your P&L. Right. Whereas in a project completion method, the revenue is only booked once the project is delivered with an OC and the customer has received the possession. So these are two ways. And as sir was pointing out, Sunteck before FY 2016 was following project completion method because we were conservative in our approach. But in 2016, with the Ind AS guidance notes, it was revealed that you have to start following percentage completion method. Now again with Ind AS 115, there is between the consultants and the agencies, the consensus approach is that you have to go with project completion method of accounting. And that's why, based on our statutory auditors also, which is Grant Thornton, we have gone ahead with project completion method of accounting. So now revenues will only be booked in the P&L when the project is completed.
So risk and reward of the project.
आपने जब बुक करा दिया वो कैश फ्लो में चला जाएगा, P&L में नहीं आएगा.
P&L में नहीं आएगा.
तो बल्कि P&L देने का मतलब ही नहीं है, बल्कि सिंपल सी बात है.
तो P&L देखने का कोई मतलब नहीं है साहब आज के दिन. Your cash flows are very more important than your P&L.
हाँ, जो क्वार्टर भी देखते हैं तो P&L आपका सेंस ही नहीं बनेगा, बिकॉज़ जब तक आपका प्रोजेक्ट पूरा नहीं होता तब तक आप P&L में उस एंट्री को मारोगे नहीं. तब तक आपका एंट्री जो है कैश फ्लो में जाएगा. Correct. Am I right?
You're perfectly right, Varinder. You're perfectly right.
100%.
अच्छा, गुड क्लैरिटी. दूसरा है वो जो आपने एक इंपॉर्टेंट रेशियो के बारे में बताया था कि ये कलेक्शन एफिशिएंसी.
हाँ,
अभी मैं अगर सनटेक का बात करूं, हमारे पास जो डेटा है, प्लीज करेक्ट इफ वी आर रॉन्ग एनीवेयर, तो सनटेक कुछ FY18 में 500-550 करोड़ कलेक्ट करता था, जो आज की डेट में कुछ 780 करोड़ है FY21 में. you know, again I'm saying कि because the projects are so different, आपका project timeline अलग होगा, number of projects अलग होंगे सारे के सारे. On an industry wide, how do I understand whether you are doing good or bad?
So sorry, can you repeat the question?
आपका collection efficiency मैं कैसे track करूं compared to peers? प्रशांत भाई, कि अगर मैं बोलूं कि आपका जो 550 करोड़ आप कलेक्ट करते थे, सनटेक कलेक्ट करता था you know FY18 में, जो अभी 780 करोड़ के आसपास है, अगेन if I have to compare with other companies, सबके प्रोजेक्ट्स अलग-अलग हैं, नंबर ऑफ टाइमिंग अलग-अलग है सबका. सो आपको किस तरीके से कंपेयर कर सकता हूं मैं कि whether you are doing good or bad?
So
how do you assess कि आपका कलेक्शन एफिशिएंसी अच्छा जा रहा है कि नहीं जा रहा?
So it is best way to track it with the pre-sales का number.
तो कलेक्शन डिवाइडेड बाय प्री-सेल्स.
तो हाँ, so obviously जो नए सेल्स हो रहे हैं उस पे आप 10-20% कलेक्ट कर रहे हो, बट जो आपके नियर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट है वो 80-90% आप कलेक्ट कर रहे हो. सो ऑन एन एवरेज इफ यू आर कलेक्टिंग एनीथिंग अबाउट 50-60% ऑफ योर प्री सेल्स, unless and until your pre-sales have all of a sudden jumped very high, you should be very happy. So I think where our efficiency is very good if you look at that.
ये रेजिडेंशियल का हो गया ना?
Sorry?
ये रेजिडेंशियल का हो गया, right?
Correct.
तो आप बोल रहे हो कि collection to pre-sales, if it's more than 60%, it's good.
I think anything above 50% should be very good, I think. So Prashant, can you give us our pre-sales, what are the ratios from last 4-5 years?
Yeah, so Varinderji, the collection efficiency of Sunteck in FY21 was 76%, which is post-COVID. Now post-COVID, we have done one of the best, we have the best collection efficiency. Also to elaborate on
the chart if you have, Prashant.
Yes, sir, I'll show the chart.
Sunteck year-wise collection efficiency.
Sure, sir. So, Varinderji, can you see the screen? Now, if you see in FY21, we have done 76.3% is our collection efficiency, which was around 60%, 55 to 60% in FY19 and FY20. That was because we had launched our affordable project, Sunteck Westworld and Sunteck Maxworld in Naigaon.
Understood.
So that is the reason. Secondly, sir, also I would like to also point out that Sunteck is one of the few companies, I will say among the top 8, it is only among 2 companies which has a double-digit CAGR in collections growth. Now, my pre-sales is also growing in double digits. My collection is also growing in double digits. You can do your own research on this, sir. The collection growth of other companies are in single digits, or I will say low single digits. It is less than 5% of the industry.
Got it. No, I understood, sir. I understood this point. Collection efficiency plus the accounting part. I think these 2 points were very, very important.
Right.
Now, I think industry wala is very, very clear to us. Now I'm jumping to Sunteck, okay, directly. अभी सर ये समझाइए मुझे Sunteck में, जब मैं Sunteck को समझता हूँ, ठीक है, again at the risk of sounding repetitive, लोढ़ा, DLF, Godrej, Oberoi, 3-4 नाम आते हैं. How do I start when I think about a real estate company like Sunteck? Let's assume for simplicity कि आपका जो एक प्रोजेक्ट है मैं उसको एक फैक्ट्री मान के चलता हूँ, ठीक है. अभी आपने जैसे आप बोल रहे हो सिग्नेचर आइलैंड से चालू किया, बीकेसी में जो एक प्रोजेक्ट था, मगर एक फैक्ट्री थी आपकी. तो मैं आपको आज की डेट में Sunteck का प्री सेल्स जो नंबर है हमारे पास, वो जो आई थिंक 5 साल पहले कुछ 550-600 करोड़ होता था, आज की टाइम पे 1000 करोड़ के आसपास है. 1200 करोड़ भी गया हुआ है 2 साल पहले, बट अभी बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड एंड ऑल 1000 करोड़ है, राइट. if I have to understand whether Sunteck is a great company to look ahead for the next 3, 4, 5 years, help me to understand मैं क्या देखूं इस कंपनी में, कैसे देखूं, और क्या आप देखते हो when you look at the execution part of Sunteck.
So जैसे हमने वरिंदर जी, आप देखिए, अगर जैसे पहले अगर आप आज से 2 साल 3 साल पहले तक देखोगे तो पहले 5 साल 10 साल पहले देखोगे तो Sunteck का कैश फ्लो एक ही लोकेशन से आता था, जो मेनली था बीकेसी, क्योंकि बीकेसी में 3 प्रोजेक्ट थे, सिग्नेचर आइलैंड, सिग्निया आइल एंड सिग्निया पर्ल. So 80% of the revenue would come from the super luxury segment. The way we started going further, हमारी एक दूसरी फैक्ट्री या दूसरा इंजन चालू हो गया Sunteck के लिए, ओडीसी, जहाँ पे 25 एकड़ लैंड है हमारे अपने पास. तो वो 25 एकड़ से अगर Sunteck City, Avenue 1, Avenue 2 and 4th Avenue, 3 projects are going on there. The second engine started from ODC, and thereafter, after 3-4 years, the big jump. So I'm talking about only the big projects. I'm not talking about the small projects from where that can be considered as one more engine, special extra engine for Sunteck, all small put together. But now we are focusing only on big engines, and going forward, we only want to take a sizable projects, not small projects, because the bandwidth loss is too much by doing small projects. So that's why. So one was BKC, second was ODC, then third became a Naigaon. In fact, BKC, Sunteck was totally dependent on BKC. If you ask me 4 years back, 3 years back, or 5 years back. Now, in fact, BKC contributes only not more than 10-20% in the cash flow or in the P&L or across anything for Sunteck. So now there are 3 engines, but BKC, ODC, and Naigaon. If you see in last 2 years, Sunteck ne kya kiya hai? We will be one of the biggest beneficiary of this consolidation with the headwinds of the COVID. Again, because of the strong balance sheet, strong execution track record, and we have always rewarded our partners who are done a JV, JDA, humne jo Naigaon mein kiya. We have given handsomely return to them. And that's why today we have done biggest acquisition in this last 2 years. Highest acquisition, I will say, across the country, and especially in MMR region. So we did Vasai. So ये चौथी फैक्ट्री चालू हो जाएगी. वासिंद जो हमने लॉन्च किया अभी, ये 5th फैक्ट्री है, ये 4th बोल सकते हैं. Vasai will be 5th, and 6th is the SK resort Borivali में जो हमने लिया. That's a big project in Borivali, and that will be like something similar to ODC. So
मुझे थोड़ा कंज्यूम करने दीजिए सर. आई एम अ स्लो लर्नर, सॉरी फॉर दैट. आपने बोला कि आपका 2 फैक्ट्री था बड़े वाला, ओडिसी और बीकेसी.
करेक्ट.
मैं अगेन इफ माय मेमोरी इज
उसके बाद नाइगांव.
नहीं, सो माय मेमोरी इज करेक्ट. 2000 से जब कंपनी चालू हुआ, आपने
2006 से रियल एस्टेट में
2006 से चालू हुआ, तो आपने 13-14 साल में 2 बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स लगाए. तीन सॉरी, वी आर काउंटिंग बीकेसी,
बीसी एंड नाइगांव.
एंड अच्छा, नाइगांव आई थॉट 2018 में था, राइट?
हाँ, 2018 में.
सो मैं 2018 से पहले बात कर रहा था, तो 2 प्रोजेक्ट लगाए. 2018 से लेके 21 तक, मुझे 3 साल जो मैं लगाता हूँ, 3 साल में आपने 4 और प्रोजेक्ट्स चालू कर दिए या एक्वायर कर लिए. नाइगांव आई थिंक विच हैज बीन डूइंग गुड. वसिंड का जैसे मेरे ख्याल में जब अभी पहले भी आया था कि आपने हफ्ते 10 दिन पहले लॉन्च किया हुआ है. वाशी और ये बोरीवली एसके रिसोर्ट्स वाला. तो टोटल अभी 6 बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स हो गए आपके, राइट?
करेक्ट.
कैन यू पुट दिस थिंग इनटू मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड? बिकॉज एक आपने बोला कि आप कलेक्शन एफिशिएंसी देखो, डेट इक्विटी देखो, कैपिटल एलोकेशन देखो, बट साइज के हिसाब से भी अभी Sunteck is smaller. Am I right to say that? And is that a parameter to even watch out for?
So Prashant, can you give now how many million square feet we will be developing in these 6 projects versus those 2 projects?
अभी आज के टाइम पे आपका कितना है सर Sunteck का?
Prashant, you are on mute.
नहीं, हाँ.
So Varinder ji, so you have to look at this slide. I hope the slide is visible.
Yeah.
So my total potential of the which we were talking is 18.4 million square feet, sir.
So पहले वरिंदर जी 4 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट था 2018 तक. 3 मिलियन Sunteck सिटी से, ओडीसी से, और 1 मिलियन फ्रॉम बीकेसी, जो इसमें है नहीं.
अभी सॉरी अभी बिफोर दीज प्रोजेक्ट्स जो ये नए आपके इंजन्स हैं, राइट?
हाँ,
मैं अभी बीकेसी भूल जाता हूँ, ओडीसी भूल जाता हूँ एक बार, ठीक है ना?
करेक्ट.
मैं बोला कि अभी 4 आपके नए आए. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द रियल एस्टेट कंपनी, नॉट ओनली Sunteck.
करेक्ट.
मैं बोला कि 2 थे. अभी जो आपने बोला 18.4 में से -3 कर देता हूँ चलो ओडीसी, तो मोटा 15 मिलियन स्क्वायर फुट रह गया. आई एम ट्राइंग टू थिंक कि आपने 13-14 साल में क्या किया. 13-14 साल में कितना मिलियन स्क्वायर फुट आपने डिलीवर किया होगा?
13-14 साल में हमने डिलीवर किया है करीब 3 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट, सर. 3 मिलियन.
सो पहले 5 साल में ऐसे देखिए, पहले 6 साल में हमने फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट हमारा बीकेसी का डिलीवर किया 5-6 साल के बाद, तो वो पहला 1 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट हमने डिलीवर किया होगा 6-7 साल में. उसके बाद 3 साल में हमने 3 मिलियन डिलीवर किया होगा. और अभी हम जो नाइगांव अभी ये साल में डिलीवर करने वाले हैं, वो itself is 1.2 million और 1.3 million. So every year हम 1 से 1.5 million अब डिलीवर करेंगे, और गोइंग फॉरवर्ड नेक्स्ट ईयर से हमारा टारगेट है 2 साल में जो नए प्रोजेक्ट्स कंप्लीट होंगे हम इसको ऑलमोस्ट डबल करते जाएंगे, 2 से 3 मिलियन, 3 से 4 मिलियन.
No, I understood. So of course this number 18 million is over a period of 7-8 years, 7-10 years, right? मैं जो समझाऊं ये समझाऊं कि आपने 2016-17 तक अगर 4 मिलियन अब जैसे आपने बोला किया था, अभी नाउ द कंपनी इज एमिंग की हर साल 1.5-2 million as the things progress, as in when the timeline of these projects progress हो जाएगा, उतना चलता रहेगा, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it. So that is one clear that if I have to see, so when I think about say Colte or say something like Brigade or something, how do I understand Sunteck versus these companies?
See,
one is of course the region wise तो समझ आ गया, collection efficiency निकाल लूंगा मैं, debt equity निकाल लूंगा, but what are other things in terms of size or things to look out for?
तो वरिंदर आज सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज यही एमएमआर मार्केट का एक और बड़ा एडवांटेज है. अगर हम एमएमआर मार्केट में हो, अगर आपको जो प्रॉफिट और जो टर्नओवर रेवेन्यू करना है, बुक करना है, जो आप 1 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट में करते हो, जो कोई बैंगलोर के डेवलपर को या और किधर के डेवलपर को, उसको वो 2.5 से 3 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि मेरा एवरेज सेलिंग प्राइस इज क्लोज टू 15,000 to 20,000 रुपीज अ स्क्वायर फीट, और उसका एवरेज सेलिंग प्राइस विल बी 5,000 to 7,000 रुपीज अ स्क्वायर फीट. सो उसको ऑलमोस्ट मेरे से 3x या 2x काम करना पड़ेगा, और उसका एबिटा मार्जिन होगा मेरे हिसाब से 15-20% के ऊपर नहीं होगा. मेरा आज के दिन एबिटा मार्जिन इज क्लोज टू 35%.
सर बट सॉरी, आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग कि जो आपने काम मोटा लास्ट 12-13 साल में किया, अभी आप उससे 4 गुना करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो अगले 6-7 साल में या 7-10 साल में. In terms of million square foot, we are not counting the value because value will be different.
So you look Sunteck as from 2006 onwards to 2018, 6 साल का गैप लेके आप चलिए. 6 साल में कंपनी वाज ओनली फोकसिंग इनटू द उबर लग्जरी सेगमेंट, जहां वॉल्यूम्स नहीं था, खाली प्योर. तो बीकेसी जैसा 1.2 मिलियन और 1.5 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट कंस्ट्रक्ट करना इज मोर डिफिकल्ट देन मेरे को 5 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट अगर ओडीसी में कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है.
नहीं, मैं समझा सर. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि इसका सब पैसा कहां से आएगा?
तो पैसा तो प्री सेल से आ रहा है ना. ये तो सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज है. Sunteck is not putting a capital in buying the land. That's the beauty of it ना. मैं तो कैश फ्लो पॉजिटिव होता हूँ.
नया गांव हुआ, वसई, वसेंट, बोरीवली हुआ. How are these in terms of business model?
They are all asset light. So the day I do the launch, I do sales. और वो सेल्स से पैसे से मुझे तो कंस्ट्रक्शन में पैसा लगाना है.
नहीं, लैंड आपका नहीं होता है. हमें थोड़ा हिंदी में समझाइए सर थोड़ा सा.
तो मैंने जो नायगांव में किया, लेट्स से एग्जांपल ऑफ नायगांव, सेम वसई में, सेम वासिन में, सेम एसके रिसोर्ट्स बोरीवली में. सो नायगांव में हमने 150 एकड़ लैंड ली, और हमने लैंडलॉर्ड को बोला कि हम तुम्हें नेट सब मार्केटिंग कॉस्ट निकाल के सब करके हम 26% आपको रेवेन्यू देंगे टॉप लाइन का. तो हमारा एक मॉडल, जो ये मॉडल है जस्ट इन टाइम मॉडल जो बोलते हैं अपने, जो से टोयोटा कार है, वो जो उन लोग क्या करते हैं आज, एफिशिएंसी क्या है उनकी, जब कार फैक्ट्री के बाहर जा रही है उसके जस्ट 4-6 घंटे पहले टायर आते हैं, टायर कार में लग जाते हैं, कार बाहर चली जाती है, तो इन्वेंट्री होल्डिंग कॉस्ट इज ऑलमोस्ट जीरो. आज रियल एस्टेट कंपनी के लिए 80% ऑफ द वैल्यू ऑफ द रॉ मटेरियल इज व्हाट, land parcel, and especially when you are in Mumbai, your land price is more like 70% of your total value of the real estate, and 20 to 30% is your value for construction cost. So आज मैं 70 to 80% of the value जो मुझे लैंडलॉर्ड को लोग पैसा दे के लैंड खरीदते हैं, मैं तो उसको जस्ट इन टाइम से भी बेटर कर रहा हूं. मैं जिस दिन माल बेचता हूं उस दिन पैसे नहीं दे रहा हूं उसको. मैं जिस दिन बायर मेरा जो फ्लैट खरीदता है उसका पैसा मेरे पास आता है, उसका वो 26% रेवेन्यू में उसको देता हूं.
कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉस्ट कौन देता है सर?
कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉस्ट ऑब्वियसली मैं देता हूं. तो मैंने सपोज 1000 फ्लैट बेचे, जैसे लॉन्च में बेचे थे मैंने फर्स्ट नायगांव में 1000 फ्लैट बेचे. मैंने कुछ 400-500 करोड़ का माल बेचा, 400 करोड़ का लेट्स से माल बेचा. 400 करोड़ का माल बेचा, इसका मतलब मैं 26%, लेट्स से 25% मुझे लैंडलॉर्ड को देना है टॉप 10 का, तो मैं उस दिन भी उसको 100 करोड़ नहीं दे रहा हूं। मैंने तो 400 करोड़ का माल बेच दिया, उसकी जमीन बेच दी, एज गुड एज मैंने सब कुछ बेच दिया। मैं उसको 100 करोड़ कब दे रहा हूं? जब वो 400 करोड़ का पेमेंट जैसे जैसे कलेक्ट करता हूं, जैसे मैंने फर्स्ट स्लैब डाल दी या प्लिंथ आ गई मैंने, तो मैं 400 करोड़ में से 50 करोड़ कलेक्ट करता हूं लेट्स से, तो 50 करोड़ का 25%, 12.5 करोड़ में लैंडलॉर्ड को तब देता हूं, और 37.5 करोड़ में घर पे लेके आता हूं, और वो 37.5 करोड़ मेरा कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉस्ट भी कवर कर देता है, प्लस एक्स्ट्रा कैश फ्लो भी लेके आता है कंपनी के लिए, ग्रोथ के लिए। आई थिंक
I understood.
have I been able to explain?
I understood. And sir, but I understood. Thank you so much for that. But sorry, again a stupid question. Till what time we know that you're not chewing more than what you can bite? You know कि अभी जैसे ये बिजनेस मॉडल ऐसा समझ में आ रहा है कि भैया आपका पैसा लग नहीं रहा है, जिसके पास जगह उसके पास जाओ, उसको बोलो कि ठीक है हम आपको XYZ% प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग देंगे। आपने मगर these are big numbers, right? बाकी 4.5, 2.5, 1 नाईगांव तो टचवुड आपका आई थिंक सक्सेसफुल हो गया, बिकॉज 75 इन्वेंटरी उसका मैंने पढ़ा था कि इट्स ऑलरेडी सोल्ड द वन व्हिच यू हैव लॉन्च्ड। तो आप बाकी अप साइकिल में तो सबको बस्ती है सर, अप साइकिल में तो जितना बना लो उतना बना लो, यू नो, बट एट व्हाट टाइम यू डिसाइड और व्हाट टाइम वी थिंक दैट यू आर नॉट यू नो चूइंग मोर देन व्हाट यू कैन बाइट? मालूम चला कि आपने 25 मिलियन स्क्वायर फुट खड़ा कर दिया कि मैं इतना और ले लूंगा और कल को माल ना बिके तो?
सब वो सबसे बड़ी एडवांटेज ये है इसमें, मैं माल खड़ा ही नहीं करूंगा ना, जितना माल बिकेगा उतना ही मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन करूंगा, मैं क्यों ज्यादा करूंगा? अगर मेरे को 10 टावर लॉन्च करने हैं तो पहले मैं 4 ही टावर बेचूंगा ऑब्वियसली, तो 4 टावर का माल बिक जाएगा तो ही मैं 5वां टावर लॉन्च करूंगा ना। वो गलतियां तो बहुत डेवलपर ने की है, मैं उस कैटेगरी में नहीं हूं ना, तभी तो सनटेक यहाँ पे है कि 10 के 10 टावर का कंस्ट्रक्शन साथ में स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, ओवर बुलिश हो जाते हैं और डेट ले लेते हैं, तो कैश फ्लो, सी दिस इज नॉट अ रॉकेट साइंस बिजनेस, ये रॉकेट साइंस तो है नहीं रियल एस्टेट, सबसे सिंपल दिखने वाला बिजनेस है, बल्कि सबसे सिंपल नहीं है, इसलिए 90% डेवलपर्स आर टुडे स्ट्रगलिंग एंड आर इन प्रॉब्लम।
सही बोले, सही बोले। नो बाकी ऑनेस्टली when we took look at the debt equity, जो numbers हमारे you know भाई ने किए हुए हैं, I think your debt equity level is you know almost at par with Oberoi's.
No, I think we are today 0.18 net debt equity ratio, because we have given some approval cost के लिए landlords को extra पैसा as a debt from the company, which is actually we are helping the landlord. See, आज landlord हमारे पास क्यों आ रहा है? हमने हाईएस्ट डील क्यों की? आपको ये क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहिए। क्यों दूसरे लोग को ये लैंड पार्सल नहीं मिल रही, आपको क्यों मिली ये सब लैंड पार्सल? द रीजन इज व्हाट वी हैव रिवॉर्डेड आवर लैंडलॉर्ड। लेट्स से इन नाईगांव हमने लेस देन 15 एकड़ अभी डेवलप किया होगा, 20-25% ऑफ द पोटेंशियल ऑफ द लैंड मैंने डेवलप की। वो लैंड, नाईगांव की लैंड अगर लैंडलॉर्ड बेचता तो उसको नॉट मोर देन 800-900 करोड़ कोई मुश्किल से पहले तो देने वाला मिलता, और नॉट मोर देन 800-900 करोड़ रुपया उसको कोई देता था। उसने हमारे साथ टाई अप किया, हमने अब लेस देन 2 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट हमने डेवलप किया है, वो ऑलरेडी वहां पे 12 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट का पोटेंशियल है। 2 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट में ही विल बी वॉकिंग अवे विद क्लोज टू 400 to 500 करोड़ ऑफ हिज शेयर ऑफ रेवेन्यू इन लेस देन 3.5 years। बस वो डांस कर करके पब्लिक को सबको बता रहा है कि मैंने इतना पैसा कमाया। That's why the people who are close to him, associated with him, other landlords are today coming. Why did we get a land parcel in Vasai at a similar terms? Why did we get at Vasin? So you said, when you will come to know that you are biting more than what you can chew? हम ऐसा कब होगा? I think वो मार्केट बता देगा। अगर मुझे कम लैंड पार्सल्स ऐसे टर्म्स पे मिले, because landlord is trusting with his land parcel which is worth 800 crore, 1000 crore, 700 crore, and he is totally trusting and giving it to Sunteck. और उसको जब तक क्वालिटी रिटर्न और क्वालिटी सेल्स नहीं मिलेगी और उसका Sunteck is taking care of his interest, वो नेक्स्ट टाइम दूसरा लैंडलॉर्ड आएगा ही नहीं ना। it is by the word of mouth. ये तो कोई advertisement करने से तो मेरे पास सारे landlords कल नहीं आ जाएंगे. मैं एक hoardings लगा दूं या newspaper ad कर दूं.
So आपको सर इस धंधे में क्या कैपिटल रेगुलरली चाहिए होगा? क्योंकि जब तक प्रोजेक्ट उस स्टेज तक नहीं जाता जिस स्टेज तक इट्स सेलेबल, राइट? सो आई थिंक आपने कोई डायल्यूशन ज्यादा नहीं किया कंपनी में. एज आई सेड, आपका डेट इक्विटी हैज बीन कंफर्टेबल सिंस लास्ट 5-6 years, below 0.7, came to now 0.18 जो आप बता रहे हैं अभी. So I'm just assuming since now you're building so much in the next 4-5 years, will you want external funds?
Yes, तो वरिंदर, फंड्स कैश फ्लो इतना स्ट्रांग है, बट आई डोंट नो वो कैश फ्लो से ज्यादा अगर मेरी भूख हुई ग्रो करने की, हाँ, तो डेफिनेटली आई वुड नॉट माइंड दैट. आई डोंट वांट टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन द ग्रोथ ऑफ द कंपनी. इफ द कैपिटल इज रिक्वायर्ड, आई वुड डाइल्यूट. आई डोंट माइंड माय, ऑल्दो आज अगर जो माय होल्डिंग इज क्लोज टू 67-68%, नॉट अ सिंगल शेयर इज प्लेज्ड, प्रमोटर शेयर इज प्लेज्ड, और वी डोंट, दैट्स अ प्रिंसिपल, आज तक कभी प्लेज नहीं किया. We don't give corporate guarantees. So we are very principally, we are very clear on certain things. और सबसे बड़ी बात, we have said we will limit ourselves in MMR region for some time. But हमने क्या किया to strengthen and to spread our risk. To risk spread करने के लिए हमने क्या किया? पहले luxury से mid income group में गए, mid income से हम affordable group पे गए. उसके बाद अभी हमको लगता है हमको जाना चाहिए, मैंने जो कहा, data centers, warehousing, those are capital intensive business, because those will be yielding a rental yield, and that you can future may go and create a REIT for the company, but that can unlock a huge value for Sunteck. So we will slowly entering into the other segments in MMR region. So we
no, got it sir. आपका प्री सेल्स मेरे ख्याल में 1200 करोड़ के आसपास है, 1100-1200 करोड़ के आसपास.
correct.
I don't know whether you have any internal targets or not, but looking at the launches, what they are, and if they go in the right manner, I think there are 2 or 3 companies in India जिनका pre-sales 5000 करोड़ से ऊपर है, right? Godrej, Prestige, Loda,
That's all. I think only 3 companies.
3 companies. DLF is some 3000 करोड़, because उनका commercial बहुत बड़ा है.
उनका commercial is very big.
हाँ, very big. तो आपका क्या sir? Is there, because if you have this 18 million square foot coming in, is there any target in mind which you have in terms of pre-sales, what Sunteck could achieve possibly, going ahead?
So we are very clear, in next 3 to 5 years we should be close to 4,000 to 5,000 crore sales.
Pre-sales. Wow, so that's a big number, pre-sales.
Sir, if I can just squeeze in, say you just said that MMR is like Manhattan, where land is very difficult to fetch and etc. So going forward, I think you will have to spread into other geographies, because there is some limitations in the land in the Mumbai region. So where would you want to go, or is there something which you have thought about?
So Varinder, okay, I don't see this problem that I'll have to move out of MMR for at least next 2 to 3 years. The kind of acquisitions we are doing and what is there in the pipeline, you will keep hearing more acquisitions. But definitely after 2 to 3 years, आज मैं बोलूं, आज हो सकता है कि पुणे market is better, और कल मैं बोलूं कि Bangalore market is better, and maybe day after tomorrow I say the Gurgaon market is better. So definitely when I reach that stage, it will be better to answer that question at that particular time, that which market looks better, and from the next 5 to 10 year horizon, where we want to create another Sunteck location for that geography. And there we want to be in any geography wherever we are. If you see the micro market of Mumbai also.
Yeah. Sir,
sorry to Varinder, khali ek mein ye.
Please.
What is how Sunteck thinks, you'll understand. हम जब BKC में गए, तो आज हम BKC में all as good as monopoly है Sunteck की residential में. There is no one like Sunteck. There is no one. ODC में the only biggest player in real estate there is Sunteck. Biggest player. No other close to us. So similarly, Naigaon, we have the monopoly. So we don't mind कोई बड़े से बड़ा player अगर Naigaon में आ जावे, तो we will be able to properly give him competition. Will not get scared, whether it is BKC, ODC or Naigaon. And now maybe Wasin, and then maybe Vasai, and similarly going forward other location. So this is wherever we want to go, we have to have a control of the market. We should know everything, pulse of the market. And no one should come and he can create a problem for Sunteck's growth. So that is the way. So whenever we go to the next geography, we'll do a lot of research, hard work, all our studies, and then we will approach that micro market and accordingly we'll enter that market.
Sir, मेरे 3 क्वेश्चन हैं. एक तो I know no one can predict, but we are banking a lot on these geographies doing very well, the factories doing well, right? Is there any way wherein you have any internal, internal policies or anything in order to see कि यार इतना बड़ा इन्वेस्टमेंट कहीं खराब ना हो जाए या स्लो डाउन ना हो जाए या 1 साल 2 साल उसमें प्रोजेक्ट में कुछ काम ना हो जाए? I don't know whether you can have a checks also on those projects or not. Like Naigaon turned very well. Vasant is already launched, I think much ahead of people what they're expecting. So things are going good for Sunteck. But मैं बोल रहा हूँ internally आपको भी चिंता होती होगी कि भाई यार कहीं कुछ लेट ना हो जाए या is there any rules, regulations or clauses which you put with your partner also, कि आपके partner के कल को उसने कुछ झगड़ा कर लिया?
So कोई टाइमलाइन नहीं है और ऐसा नहीं है वरिंदर, फॉर्चुनेटली अभी तक कोई पार्टनर ने झगड़ा नहीं किया है, लेकिन लेट्स से 10 में 10 प्रोजेक्ट करता हूं, देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ना कि वरिंदर अगर मैं ये बोलूंगा कि 10 में से 10 प्रॉपर चलेंगे, कोई उधर कुछ अटकेगा नहीं, कोई अप्रूवल के कारण प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी या कोई पार्टनर कोई गलत निकल गया विथ ऑल द ड्यू डिलिजेंस एवरीथिंग वी डू, तो बट दैट विल नॉट पुट Sunteck इनटू अ प्रॉब्लम या दैट विल कॉम्प्रोमाइज द ग्रोथ ऑफ Sunteck कि Sunteck की ग्रोथ ही खत्म हो जाएगी एक प्रोजेक्ट से. So that is the advantage of going asset light in the housing segment. That is the biggest advantage. Let's say tomorrow वासिन वसई 4-5 प्रोजेक्ट और आ रहे हैं, उसमें से एक प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च होता है और अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं करता है, बट हाउ डज इट मैटर? जो ग्रोथ लेट्स से 30% होनी थी वो 25% हो जाएगी, बट ऐसा तो नहीं है कि डी ग्रोथ हो जाएगी Sunteck और Sunteck will get into a problem, or company will get into a problem. So we will never do something speculative. We will definitely take risk. In business you have to take risk, but it has to be calculated.
Sir, bookkeeping questions, Prashant may answer this. अपना cost of debt कितना है sir Sunteck का अभी?
So our cost of debt is 8.5%,
which is in line with other peers, right?
No, Varinder ji, I want to mention you here something. 8.5% that we have been doing is not on LRD. We have been doing on residential segment. So while you might see competition might be doing around 8%, that 8% will be on LRD. Okay. So from that perspective, you have to bifurcate residential segment and commercial segment.
I think we must be best in the one of the best in the segment. Leaving apart, I think cost of debt for Godrej may be only lesser. Otherwise, if you look at any other player, including other big developers, more than Sunteck, Godrej and again Mahindra may be less because Mahindra is a corporate developer. But I don't think anybody else would be lesser than Sunteck.
Got it. Second, अपना ROC कितना बनता है यार residential पे, Prashant?
So, Varinder ji, again, you have to look at return on capital employed on a very different methodology because the accounting has changed. So, since accounting has changed, the EBIT and the PAT is not the main parameter that you will have to look at. So, you will have to go project by project. Now, if you look at project by project, Naigaon is today giving me infinite ROC, sir.
Because investment तो zero है.
Investment is zero ना sir.
See, एक फैक्ट्री नायगांव में हमने 50 करोड़ रिफंडेबल डिपॉजिट देके हमने वो फैक्ट्री खरीदी. हाँ, और आज मैं हर साल वहां से 100 करोड़ रुपया मिनिमम 100 से 150 करोड़ रुपया कैश फ्लो पॉजिटिव बनाऊंगा. पॉजिटिव कैश फ्लो बनाऊंगा. ओडीसी से मैं मिनिमम 100 से 150 करोड़ से 200 करोड़ रुपया हर साल पॉजिटिव कैश फ्लो बनाऊंगा. और ये मैं बात कर रहा हूँ नेक्स्ट 5 से 7 साल तक. बीकेसी में जैसे जैसे मैं इन्वेंट्री बेचूंगा, 1800 करोड़ की इन्वेंट्री आज भी मेरे पास है, जो कि डेट उस पे ऑलमोस्ट जीरो है, जीरो डेट. वो मैं जैसे जैसे बेचूंगा तो हर साल में 100 से 150 करोड़ रुपया वहां से कैश फ्लो बनाऊंगा. वैसे ही मैं बोल रहा हूँ वसई, वासिंद और एसके बेचूंगा, वो हर जगह पे मैं एक फैक्ट्री या इंजन चालू करूंगा जहां से मैं Sunteck एडिशनल कैश फ्लो, पॉजिटिव कैश फ्लो ईयर ऑन ईयर 100 से 150 करोड़ रुपया बनाऊंगा.
सर अभी ना मैं देख रहा था कि Sunteck ने बिफोर कोविड if we see the average profit run rate is between say 150 to 200 crores per annum, right? Before the COVID hit you. with these 4 factories you're mentioning, you know, जो आपने नएगांव, वसाई, वसंत, बोरीवली की बात की, and I am assuming the bare minimum rates which are, you know, going there with the जो आपने already announced किया हुआ है revenue sharing and all those things which are announced. So as per my rough calculation, that these 4 projects itself, even if I deduct the landowners cost, construction cost, other costs, marketing costs and everything, so there's a potential कि 4,000 crore का आपको profit बन सकता है इन 4 projects में over the period of 7 to 10 years.
7 to 8 years you can easily take. 7 to 9 years ले लो. 10 years का तो सवाल ही नहीं होता है.
No, but is this number correct, sir?
आप देख लो ना, नायगांव में ऐसे ही तो है. नायगांव में तो लास्ट 3 साल से यही तो हो रहा है. 3.5 साल से.
So you are mentioning around 200 crore cash flow.
और आज अगर आप देखोगे जो मैंने लैंड ली है कंपेयर टू माय कॉम्पिटिटर्स, मैंने टर्न अराउंड वासिन को हमने लेस देन अ ईयर में हमने टर्न अराउंड करके लॉन्च कर दिया. लेस देन अ ईयर. नायगांव भी हमने जब लिया था, हमने 1 साल से कम टाइम में हमने लॉन्च कर दिया था सारे अप्रूवल्स लाके.
So you mentioned about 150 to 200 crores additional cash flows from one single project, right?
Yes, yes.
So if there are 4 projects, which means that there could be
400 to 500 crore of positive cash flow year on year from each. So we are not looking any size, any project. You run the numbers.
नहीं, numbers तो मैंने मोटा मोटा देखा ना सर. नए गांव में देखो आपके पास 1.2 करोड़ जो है स्क्वायर फुट जगह है वहां पे, ठीक है ना. उसमें से मेरे ख्याल में 15-20% बन गया है. प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग आप लोगों ने दिया हुआ है, उसका कॉस्ट कितना होता है. So we took all the basic numbers जो सारे के सारे हैं, उस हिसाब से आया. But I was surprised because आपका अभी 150-200 करोड़ प्रॉफिट आता है और you know this number comes to 350-400 करोड़ additional cash flows आ सकता है. Now the risk is only कि what can happen to the economy, you know, interest rates, real estate market and all those things, right?
150-200 करोड़ रुपया जो आता था जब तक खाली 2 ही प्रोजेक्ट थे as good as ODC and BKC. और ODC तो नया प्रोजेक्ट था तो स्ट्रगल कर रहा था अप्रूवल्स में. ये जो ODC का फर्स्ट 2 फेज को आप देखिए, मुझे डेवलप करने में 6 से 7 साल लग गए. Because thanks to the approval, कोई एग्जीक्यूशन कैपेबिलिटी नहीं थी, ये नहीं था. Thanks to the approval, अपना ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिस्टम, हमारा अप्रूवल 10 विंडो से 20 अप्रूवल्स लेने हैं. अब 4th एवेन्यू जो हमने लॉन्च किया है, I guarantee we will complete because approvals now has become systematic. Now government has made lot of things easy. So now we have, and thanks to the RERA, now most of the approval are there before we start the project. So that same 2 towers, which are bigger and taller than the Avenue 1 and Avenue 2, we will complete in less than 3.5 years. And the kind of cash flow will come from those 2 towers is, Prashant, close to 800 crore?
Yes, sir.
800 crore. So वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ 200 करोड़ का पॉजिटिव कैश फ्लो ईयर ऑन ईयर वहां से आएगा. और वो तो you can see all this what I am talking, you can go to ODC.
But this 200 crore is only to you or the entire project, because आपका प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग अलग से होगा, राइट?
नहीं, ये एक्विजिशन है, ये कैपिटल एलोकेशन है सनटेक का.
100% आवर शेयर.
100% सनटेक रियलिटी का शेयर है ये.
वेरी नाइस सर.
There is no partner.
सर आपका अभी जो वसंत लॉन्च हुआ था, हमारे एक इन्वेस्टर है वो पूछ भी रहे हैं, आपने कितना 10 तारीख को लॉन्च किया था शायद, उसका भी रिपोर्ट चल रहा था कि दैट हैज बीन गुड. कैन यू प्लीज अपडेट कि हाउ इज द रिस्पांस टू वसंत प्रोजेक्ट?
दिस इज अ लिस्टेड कंपनी वरिंदर, ये पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं है. आपके पास तो कोई मैसेज है,
ठीक है,
वो उस पे मैं कमेंट नहीं
नहीं, ठीक है सर. नो आई अंडरस्टूड. एक और हमारे साहब ने क्वेश्चन पूछा सर, व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट आई थिंक, that what could be the impact of the interest rates and higher commodity prices, you know, because interest and commodity prices can easily upset the recovery.
So commodity price may obviously increase the construction cost. So again, that's the biggest what we have seen. So आपने बोला क्या learn किया आपने plus 15. Boss, the biggest advantage is today the construction cost if you are in a Mumbai market, MMR market, your maximum, even in affordable, is not more than 30-35% of your real estate cost. Which is if you go to a Bangalore market or any other market, your construction cost is 60 or 70% of your real estate cost, even 75%. So there your commodity price going up, your construction cost goes up crazily, and that can affect your margins to a large extent. यहाँ पे margins does not get that much impacted. in MMR market because your construction cost is not more than 20-25% of your real estate cost. So suppose that your inflation, due to commodity prices going up, steel prices going up, cement prices going up, you may end up, let's say 10% cost goes up. So your 25% only will get affected.
Got it.
Not your 75%, which is a real estate cost, and which is blocked by Sunteck by tying up for next 7 to 10 years by doing an asset like JV-JD model, joint venture and joint development. So that is the beauty, that this also should not affect Sunteck's growth in spite of if there is a higher inflation. So higher interest cost, again, we continue to take construction finance only, which is always in single digit. Even if 8% becomes 9%, I don't think Sunteck should be struggling because of that, or struggling means even have to compromise on the growth or the EBITDA margin or profits margins.
So, but what can go wrong? Because मैंने आपको हर तरफ से पूछने की कोशिश की कि कुछ गलत हो सकता है, अभी the way you are sounding, it seems that one sector is good, second company has learned their lessons, जो whatever projects launch हुए थे 2, अभी 4 additional आ चुके हैं, and all those things, right? So what can go wrong, if at all?
I think अगर if आदमी calculated risk लेते रहेगा और be careful, और वो मेरा एक someone was telling me कि that ego should not come. I think that I would take it more spiritual. So I think if you are grounded, I don't think anything can. You may take wrong project, let's say 1 or 2 wrong projects. That definitely, if your growth is, let's say 30% or 25-30% or 35%, that 2 projects might decrease your growth 15% or 20%. That may make it 10%. But if you don't do anything stupid, और आपके पांव जमीन पे है, सर पे बर्फ है, मुंह में शुगर है, तो आप 99% बॉस ऐसी कंपनी को प्रॉब्लम में नहीं लाओगे और अपने इन्वेस्टर्स को प्रॉब्लम में नहीं लाओगे. मैं यही बोल सकता हूँ.
तो मैं लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा. आई थिंक वी आर ओवर टाइम नाउ. सॉरी टू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन, बट ये जरूरी रहता है सर, एटलीस्ट इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए. आई थिंक प्रमोटर के ऊपर किसी भी तरीके का कोई डेट नहीं है. प्रमोटर फैमिली के ऊपर एनी एक्सटर्नल डेट और एनीथिंग व्हिच वी हैव सीन इन सम ऑफ द कंपनीज.
सो अब मैंने वेरी क्लियरली, आपने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा नहीं, उसके बावजूद मैंने ये बोल दिया था, आज तक
प्लेज नहीं है, डेट नहीं है,
नॉट अ सिंगल शेयर प्लेज्ड. एंड जब मैं कंपनी लेवल पे डेट नहीं लेता, तो मैं पर्सनल लेवल पे उतना ही डेट लूंगा. ऑब्वियसली उतना डेट तो होगा कि मेरा घर का लोन, होम लोन है, तो अगर मुझे लग्जरी में रहना है तो आई वुड नॉट लाइक टू. एंड व्हेन यू कैन गेट अ होम लोन एट 6-7%, मैं बिजनेसमैन हूँ, आई वुड रादर पुट, मैं वरिंदर जी से पूछूंगा मेरा वो पैसा मैं कौन से स्टॉक में लगा दूं.
ठीक है, 5-10 करोड़ का ठीक है सर, उतना मैं बोल रहा कि बड़ा कुछ ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, बस और कुछ नहीं है.
तब मैं जब कंपनी में नहीं ले सकता डेट, तो मेरे पर्सनल डेट, मैं जब कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी नहीं देता तो मैं पर्सनल गारंटी भी नहीं देता हूँ. ये तो आप समझ सकते हो.
Lovely sir, I knew that, but I still thought so that everyone is clear with this. Okay, sorry, my few questions are stupid, but
no, it's not stupid, it is relevant. But when a person is so, I would be wrong if I say I don't have debt at all, but I would not buy a stock and take a debt on a stock.
No. Sir, thank you so very much. I think Kamalji, you were very honest, very frank, and to be honest, a serious look on the company is very, very important, for us to go back and read. But today, at least, you made us very, very clear in order to how to understand the sector, what Sunteck has done in the last so many years, and what are the things to monitor in Sunteck, going ahead. So some of the names of the projects, honestly, abhi malum chala padne ke baad, sir, that how have you done Naigaon, Vasend, Vashi. Honestly, SK Resorts हम जाते थे सर घूमने के लिए, but अभी तक मालूम नहीं था कि SK Resorts आप लोगों ने ले लिया है. So which is a great thing, we know. But thank you so very much, Prashant ji and Kamal ji, for educating us today. We look forward to learn more and more from you.
Thanks, Varinder, and thanks, Shivam, for inviting us to this call. And thanks all the viewers who are listening to this call for spending so much time with the company. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Sir, thank you so much.